Hey everyone, so what I got here is a computer set up in a tub. This is an experiment to see if a motherboard will run in distilled water, because distilled water isn't supposed to conduct electricity. Now there could be contaminants in the tub itself or the motherboard that could potentially cause problems, so honestly I have no idea what's going to happen here, but it's just an old ECS board with I think it's an AMD Athlon, an earlier Athlon processor. Real simple. So yeah, let's start putting water in it. Okay, here goes the first gallon. Ah, shut off. It sounded like the fan slowed down. So that didn't work as expected. I honestly thought it would actually stay on. Maybe if I wash the board first. Okay, so I still can't get the board to turn on. It's still soaking wet though, so that's probably a contributing factor. The power supply still works. I tested it manually, so I'm going to try to turn the board on manually by shorting the green wire to ground. Okay, here goes. Needs more current. Nothing. Well, I think while this board is drying, I'm going to try a different motherboard. It's similar to the other one, except it's more modern. Uses an Athlon 64X2 processor. Unfortunately for this, I don't have a PCI Express card to go in it, and there's no onboard video. But I did find this other computer on the side of the road that looks like somebody threw out of the car a few months ago. It's right here. Unfortunately with it, it doesn't have a processor or heatsink, but it does have the same socket as my ECS board. So I have no idea if this computer works. If it does, I'll have to thoroughly clean the motherboard before I try to experiment on it. See if I can put this other heatsink on here. The heatsink bracket on this one is kind of broke. I'll just have to steal one off my ECS board here since I don't use it anymore. And we'll slap that together and see if it powers on. We're in luck. Nice and clean now. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to dry it, test it again outside of the case and make sure it still works before I try the experiment on this board. You know, for something I found on the side of the road, it looks like somebody threw it out their window traveling at 45 miles an hour. This might actually turn out to be a good system if it survives. Well, my curiosity is starting to get the best of me. I'm not going to let this board dry all the way since I rinsed it with distilled water. I'm curious to see if it'll do anything at all. This might damage it and ruin the experiment, but I'm just... It turns on its own. That's not supposed to happen. Maybe it's one of those boards that's got the BIOS set to turn on after power failure. Didn't have the monitor hooked up. Let's try this again. Probably won't do anything. The fan's spinning faster. Yeah, it's complaining. Just got a beep code out of it. I'm kind of surprised it did anything. It might be because the BIOS battery's missing. Let me put the BIOS battery in. Let's see. Same thing. I'm surprised it's doing anything. So after letting this other board dry for a little bit again, this older ECS board, it powers back on, to my surprise. I think I was just hitting the wrong pins for the power button earlier, but I'm not sure. But yeah, it posts and so far looks successful. So I'm going to put it back in the tub, and well, first I probably just should rinse it off a little bit, and then I'll put it back in the tub and see if it will work in the distilled water. This time I think I might not pour the distilled water directly on it. First gallon. Oh, it shut off again. It doesn't like it. Gives me an idea though. Yeah, still posts. Doesn't like it. No, it doesn't like it. It must have some contaminants in it or something. It's probably not a very hard short, so it probably won't damage anything. That other Dell board, I'd rinsed it off first with tap water, and it was really dusty. And I used an electric toothbrush on it, with a different head, of course, not the one I use. Then I rinsed it off a little bit with distilled water. It's probably dead. Okay, so I've hooked this Dell motherboard back up, and at first I thought it wasn't working at all for a moment, but I've let it dry for a while, and it's back to doing the 5 beeps again, which I looked that up online. That usually means real-time clock failure, and that's probably because I don't have the CMOS battery in it. So I'm going to try putting the CMOS battery in and see if it'll actually post. I also tried the other board again after washing it really good and then letting it sit in some clean distilled water and rinsing it over and over, but it still didn't work like I wanted it to. It only worked whenever it's dry, so I'm going to let it dry right now. See if it'll post after doing all this. And this one still doesn't want to post. Okay, that works. No post. I think I'll let it sit like that for a little while so everything can heat up a bit. And then maybe that'll drive out the moisture. And then if it still doesn't work, I'll let it sit overnight. Okay, it just did something weird. I moved the fan over so it would blow down on it, and then the fan's kind of ramped up to a higher speed, and then it shut off. That might be a problem. Well, I think because this board still works, I'm going to do some other experiments on it. But since it only works when it's dry, I can't really put it in water without waterproofing it first. So I think what I'm going to do is spray paint with some clear coat and then see if it survives that, and then dunk it in some water. But I think I'll save that for the next video because this video is getting way too long. Anyhow, be sure to like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.